Hey guys, welcome back to another Diary of a Wimpy Kid book review video. And today we're going to be taking a look at book number 19, the most recent book in the series, Hot Mess. So here it is. We got the cover here. As you can see, there's quite a bit going on with this cover here. I think this is the most in-your-face cover design that we've gotten yet. But still pretty nice, still pretty good. Getting a closer look here, you can see that the material of the book is made to look like a tablecloth that you would eat a nice spaghetti dinner on. And speaking of spaghetti dinner, you get a few strands of spaghetti around and like little splatters of like tomato sauce. So yeah, pretty interesting. But I think it still keeps in line with the most recent book designs for the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, where it takes whatever the main subject of the book is and kind of incorporates it into the cover art. So that's pretty cool. So up at the top, of course, you got the title, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Hot Mess. And then going down, you got the picture here. And it looks like this time around, it's a picture of Greg sitting in a plate of hot spaghetti, it looks like. So yeah, really interesting cover design there. You get a little blurb up over in the corner here that says over 290 million books sold, which is very, very cool. You got author Jeff Kinney's name right there at the bottom there. And yeah, so pretty typical design for the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books here. Looking at the spine, you get the title once again, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Hot Mess. The number 19 letting you know this is the 19th book in the series. Author Jeff Kinney's last name, and the Amulet Books logo, and a picture of Greg's face. Again, pretty standard book cover design for this series. And then in the back is where it kind of tends to deviate a little bit. So, of course, typical. You get another picture here. This time it looks like it's Greg sitting in a pot of spaghetti noodles as it's cooking. So, pretty interesting. And you get the description of the book here, so I'll go ahead and read it. It says, "The pressure is building for Greg Heffley, who discovers that when you mix heaps of family, a tiny beach house, and sweltering heat, it's a recipe for disaster. Speaking of recipes, the secret ingredients behind Grandma's famous meatballs have been closely guarded for years. Can Greg unpack all of his family's mysteries before their vacation is over, or will he just stir the pot?" And then moving on down after the description here, you get a picture of all the books in the series, at least in the mainline series, excluding the Awesome Friendly Kid series, the Do-It-Yourself book, and the movie diaries. You get some more information about the publisher, Amulet Books, down here. Over here, tells you to visit wimpykid.com or to use the @WimpyKid handle. And then, looks like pricing, US price $14.99 and Canadian price $17.99. So yeah, inflation, whew, prices just continue to rise on these things. But yeah, that's the basic cover design for the book. So let's go ahead and take a look inside. So with the hardcovers, you'll get like this orange like dust sleeve, I guess. And then the opening picture looks like a little emoticon, the I'm dead symbol, I guess. And then we've got loads of information within the first few pages here. So, of course, typical with most Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, you got the title once again and author Jeff Kinney's name, Amulet Books logo, and you've got your cast of characters here. So you've got Greg here, you've got his grandma, you've got his aunt Keiki. That's one of his aunt's pets right here. New character introduced in this book. I forget the pet's name, but this is Aunt Keiki's boyfriend, I guess. His name is Vincent, I want to say. And then, of course, you've got Greg's immediate family. You've got Roderick, Susan, Manny, and Frank Heffley. And you've got some information about the Wimpy Kid series. So there's all the books in the mainline series. And then, of course, more from the Wimpy world, and that includes all the other books that I mentioned that weren't pictured in the back of this book. So yeah, pretty typical stuff. And again, typical stuff here. Some more boring stuff that publishers make authors put into their books. And this book is dedicated to Paul Anthony, whoever that is. And then from there, you go straight into the book. Starting month is June for this book. And we're going to go, as typical with these videos, to my favorite page, which is on page 47. So in the book, Greg mentions how his mom is accused of being a helicopter parent, and he talks about how he's glad that she is, because there's a lot of situations he would have gotten himself into where he would have gotten hurt without her intervention. So here's a picture of, just to show what he's talking about. It looks like when he was a younger kid, he was about to get into a fight with another kid, and their parents had to step in to break them up. So I just think it's funny seeing like this, you know, kid Greg about to go and fist fight another kid. It's just a funny image, and I really liked it. I thought it was my favorite part in the book. So yeah, so that's all the cover stuff. So going into my review and my thoughts of this book. So the last book, No Brainer, took us back to the roots of the original books by having us return to a middle school setting, which was refreshing because at that point the series was more focused on having the Heffleys go on wild vacations for many of the books. Unfortunately for fans who aren't hot on the vacation stories, this book once again has the family going on vacation, but it adds something new by focusing on Greg's extended family on his mom's side coming together to go on one big family vacation. And we have had some mention of some of Greg's aunts on his mom's side in past books, so it's fun to see that angle of Greg's family dynamic explored more in this book. And like past books, this book has a number of good jokes in it. However, I feel like the jokes in this book are more contextual than those in previous books. What I mean by that is that in past books, most of the humor came from the pictures illustrating the funny gags and the bizarre situations that Greg usually gets himself into. But for this book, however, I feel like the humor mainly comes from Greg's responses and reactions to how his mom and her family do things. In past books, I feel like a lot of the pictures were drawn to represent the things that actually happen in Greg's life, with only a few representing Greg's imagination. But I feel like this book does the opposite of that, so that it shows more of Greg's imagination. This makes it so that we can get a better idea of what is going on in Greg's head, and boy oh boy, does he have some pretty wild plans for how he will do things once he has a family of his own. I've said in past reviews that a lot of the more recent Wimpy Kid books tend to poke fun at a lot of things and show Greg getting into some pretty crazy shenanigans and situations. I feel like No Brainer really decided to go all in with that, to the point of basically making the series more cartoony and less grounded in reality. But I think this book, while still kind of cartoony in parts, does feel a bit more grounded as it focuses on showing us the relationship Greg has with his mom's side of the family. One of the things I praised about the last book was how Jeff Kinney was really doing a good job of further broadening, am I saying that right? Broadening the Wimpy Kid universe by having some of the side characters from previous books come back and get more development in these more recent books. I know Greg's Aunt Gretchen and his twin cousins were mentioned in a past book, so it's cool to see them come back in this one. Along with them, we get to learn more about Greg's aunts Veronica, Audra, and Keiki, who have probably been mentioned or shown in past books, but we get to learn more about them in this one. It really makes the Wimpy Kid world feel more real and expansive when Jeff goes deeper with these characters and shows how Greg interacts with them. I guess my only critique I can give for this book is that there is a moment at the end involving a family secret that Greg finds out about that he decides to keep a secret because he feels like it will give him power over his other family members. While that may not be too totally out of character for Greg, I feel like he should have had multiple reasons for wanting to keep the secret other than just so he could have an advantage over his other family members. It reminded me a lot of his decision at the end of Hard Luck to keep an egg he finds at the end of that book a secret because he didn't want his family to tear each other apart over it. I feel like his decision at the end of this book could have echoed his decision in that book, but instead he just wants power, so good for him, I guess. All in all, for my final thoughts, I think this is another fun and welcome addition to the Wimpy Kid collection, though I'm kind of bummed we're back to doing another vacation book. I like that we at least get to learn more about Greg's family dynamic on his mom's side. It was a welcome change of pace having a number of different characters for the ride, rather than just focusing on Greg and his immediate family's usual shenanigans. So, of course, as always, I think Wimpy Kid fans and young kids will most definitely enjoy it, but I also think the focus on family and the craziness that comes from having a large family come together for vacation is relatable enough that anyone can find enjoyment in this book. It's a pretty funny book, and I highly recommend it for anyone of any age. So with that being said, let me know what you guys thought of the book down in the comments below. Try and avoid spoilers in case anybody still has to read it, and let me know what your predictions are for Book 20. As always, I'm interested to see where Jeff Kinney plans on going from here, and I'm sure whatever he has in store for us next, it'll be a fun time, just like these more recent books we've gotten. So that's basically it for this video. If you guys made it this far, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next Diary of a Wimpy Kid book review video. Later.